Good evening and welcome to the South African Equestrian Federation podcast from the horse's mouth. My name is Georgie Roberts, and tonight we're talking about a topic that we probably should have covered in Heritage Month last month, because it is the 50th anniversary of the SA Boerperd here in South Africa, our only uniquely South African breed at the moment. And it's just so fantastic to have the Vice President of the SA Boerperd Breeders Association here in studio with me, and that is Jan Joubert. Jan, thank you for joining us.
Rosie, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's so great to have you here. We, of course, just had the SA Derby last week, and it was quite something to see the champion show horse was, in fact, one of your Boerperds, representing and flying the flag high.
Yes, Linda Mainkies with Ruben is doing excellent. Ruben was also in hand the Supreme Stallion, judged by 2 international judges. She also was
he is spectacular.
Was a supreme ridden in the SA Showing Champs in August there in Rustenburg. So we're so proud. And Linda is an excellent rider. You know, it's a combination.
Absolutely.
But Ruben is an excellent example of the breed.
Oh.
And
representing proud. Well, just from a show horse is one of the hardest things to get right? It's like, you know, they have to have the movements that you're looking for, the temperament that you're looking for, and then the correctness that you're looking for. So that's really exciting.
I was just in preparation for tonight reading again the remarks of the 2 international judges of the Horse of the Year. They said the breed were presented to them as a farm horse, and they was astonished by the quality. And I think it's Nathan that said, if the breed being branded as a bunch of farmers could continue to breed the quality that we've seen, we can't wait to see the horse in 5 years' time. So we grab the compliments, and we're so blessed that I think what the society has put in place around the breed over years, like an evaluation process of every horse compared to our breed standards, it's now it is really proving that is the right and correct way. And we thank the people before us that started the society,
Absolutely.
that had the wisdom to select those horses out of the farmers at the end of the Anglo-Boer War. Some people have hidden them in mountains and in caves, and they went to them and they said, this is how SA Boerperd must look. So bring to us every example of what you think, which of your horses comply with this breed standard. And that's how the society was formed.
That's incredible.
It was registered in 1973. That's why we're 50 years old. We're the oldest South African breed and the only one that stayed pure to our principles. That you can only, within these breed standards, select breeding stallions, mares. And now where we are in 2023 is and it's now for the last 25 years almost, that mother and father has to be a registered Boerperd. And then we even evaluate every foal before we acknowledge it as a registered animal.
So you were explaining this to me earlier on, that before 2001 you could present what you thought was Boerperd's type.
Yes.
And the Boerperd Association would evaluate the horse and say, we'll accept it as a foundation into the stud book.
Yes.
But as of 2001, you're now beyond that. You can only submit a licensed mare and stallion to breed a licensed foal, but the foal has to be evaluated.
Yes,
to be
and then we evaluate the foal also. And what we have done in the last few years, we evaluated all stallions, except those in Western Province because of the African horse sickness dilemma, at a centralized place in South Africa. Can you imagine the responsibility towards every breeder to bring their stallion there? And then you see the quality of your...
That's what the original showing shows were meant to be.
And then you see the quality of your stallion compared to the others. And then when we're done, we evaluate the evaluators also. To say, okay, how can we determine that you have the best interests of the breed? How can we determine that you apply the breed standards? So let's have the best statistical way to analyze what was your view on 45 points per horse. Neck, ears, eyes, rib.
So that my idea of a Boerperd is the same as your idea of a Boerperd.
Yes,
we're all
surely there's a variation, and length of back could vary from, and it's not, it must be that length, but we make sure that every breeder understand what we want and understand the quality, so that we can continuously enhance the quality of the breeding process. And it's costly. It's costly.
No, it's a massive commitment.
So, yes, like you say, an investment from the breeder into his own horses, because they must bear the cost for the evaluators to come to a farm for his mares and the gelding. And then he must bring his stallion to a centralized place in South Africa and present it to the breeds evaluators and in age brackets. And then they evaluate that standing independently.
I mean, that's...
And then only out
what
of
is
that,
the centralized place, Jan, that they come to?
We see what horses apply for evaluation on a year-to-year basis.
So it can evolve.
And then we see there is a big venue with stables and everything. And we say this is more central for this year's application compared to last year.
That's very fair.
And then we try to move. Nice. But there is always people on the edge.
And how many breeders, more or less, are registered now with the SA Boerperds Breeders Association?
We got about 125.
Wow, really?
Yes,
that's fantastic.
Registered breeders.
Yeah.
And then we got
I thought you were going to say like 10.
No,
that's wonderful.
Yeah, the economic state of our country does have an impact. You know,
we
see growth on members when it's going better. But we got very loyal members.
We see cheaper prices of eggs when it's going better as well, Jan. So that's fair.
That's also true.
So yeah, Jan, so you've got all these committed breeders who are so invested, such as yourself, also a very passionate breeder and representative of the breed. What is it about the Boerperd that has you guys so invested in them?
For me, the first thing is when we started off with the breed for the children. So the temperament of the horse is just exceptional. It is really out of this world. It is a horse that's been part of families, of breeding environments for years and years and years, and they've been selected in the infrastructure where horses is part of their life. Remember, in the beginning, horses were, for the farmer, it was his Toyota Bakkie. It was his way to get from A to B. Yeah. It's a way to look at his cattle. And it is a way, in the beginning,
I want this to be in the breed standard now, the Toyota Bakkie of horses.
So it was selected on this is good temperament, and that is not good temperament, and this is safe, and this is a good ride. And then I want to add to that is all the things that we as a society look at a horse, our evaluation process to say this is important in our horses. It's not only quality. Quality is there, but it's the length of the forearm. Because we want not necessarily a choppy ride. We want a long extension of the front leg. We want good movement from the back legs. We want a very good neck. We want a scoff that can take a saddle. We want, those things are important to us, and we complement them, and breeders know those things are important.
But it's interesting that you guys, it's sometimes I think it gets lost with your, I don't want to say you're more Kyalami-based horse rider, such as myself, but it's for a function. It's saying we want a longer forearm for a purpose.
Yes.
Which I find so interesting.
Yes. We want a good hoof.
Yes. But why? Why,
Because
it's not just because that's what's correct, it's what's going to last.
Yes. And we've got passionate breeders and passionate evaluators in this process. So there's a lively discussion on what is the right way and how do you do it. And so it's really, that is for me, all the components of evaluation process make sure that the breed is a better breed on a year-to-year basis. And yes, sometimes you get horses that comply with minimum breed standards, but out of that you breed a Roubaix that is exceptional. And I always say, if the average of the breed or of a stud is always just moving in the right direction, you're doing the right things.
Yeah. Um, so we've spoken about the temperament of the breed, which is really, I think, the cornerstone of it. But we've touched briefly on successful horses. That's obviously also speaking to the versatility of the Boerperd. And what are some of the disciplines that they're being in? You have to mention the Big Five horse safaris, because I mean that's just incredible.
If you analyze the disciplines, I always said our view is that yes, now in the showing environment, we're achieving the top environment of our country. And because of African horse sickness and the discipline, we don't often compare in the showing environment as internationally. But it's probably the only breed in South Africa that there's almost no discipline that you can't do. It's the weight carriers in the endurance environment. It is the safe jumpers for any child to a 90 or a meter environment. It's a horse that will never leave the child, and that's you can really trust it.
But talented jumpers.
Talented jumpers. It is a horse. Today I was at the Western Mounted Games environment.
It's an Easter finals at the nationals at the moment. Thank you for taking the time.
And just seeing how many Boerperd is there, where they just enjoy it. There's 630 horses at the dome. You can just. I
think to do Western Mounted Games, you definitely need a nice horse. So that's a good testament.
And the Boerperd is shaping there.
Yeah.
You know, our indigenous races that's in Natal that the Zulus especially enjoy, the base of their crossbreeding with trotters and those type of thing is the Boerperd, because it is a clever horse. It's a horse with sustainability in their races. So it's just all the discipline. It's a very good dressage horse. It's got a very good movement. It's got a
and it's not going to spook at a judge's box.
Not necessarily always. So it is its biggest benefit is the versatility, and that it is really the horse that can be utilized over a lot of disciplines. I always tell parents when they want to buy a Boerperd, I said, what is the benefit of buying a Boerperd? You can buy a horse for a young child because the temperament allow you that a child can ride a horse because, and grow with it. Mum and Dad, you don't need to buy a second horse, because if you pass with a pony, then you probably need to buy a second horse. You can buy a horse with the right temperament and grow together. Then, if your child don't know which disciplines necessary it can do, if it likes jumping or pre-caprilli or dressage or showing, here's a horse that can do everything. Do you want to buy 3 or 1? and it's really, it is that is the
You
principle.
don't need a Ferrari and a Hilux, and you've got this all in one. It's great. And it eats like a scooter, so it doesn't need a lot of maintenance to keep it running.
We believe, horses need grass, and our breed was brought up on farmlands and grass, and it is a low maintenance horse. Yes, they also get sick, but in a smaller percentage than the rest.
So hardiness is something that comes up. It doesn't matter where you look up the SA Boerperd. And I'm curious about that. I think it's your extreme compliance to your breed standards that's possibly partly responsible for that. A well put together horse is just a sounder horse. But it's interesting that is something that comes up repeatedly.
The other side of that hot knife in the butter is that in the past we have been criticized that we breed a short on the leg horse, a 14-hand horse, and not a 15-hand horse. Because a lot of the horses didn't necessarily come into the stables every night. It was kept on the outside on the veldt. And if it's a bad year, not good grass, the horse didn't develop to its fullest potential. I think it's only recently that there's more and more stats that, like the warmbloods or the thoroughbreds or whatever, bring those horses in every day into a stable. And the upside of that is growth and getting to its full potential, but becoming more sensitive to illnesses. So we're getting the benefit of that hardiness is over years and years and years that these horses were selected on a natural basis. If you couldn't survive, you wouldn't be the first pick of the farmer to say, that's a good mare. I get a foal every year from her, and look at her condition. Compared to the other one that probably couldn't give him a foal every year and at the best condition. So there was a natural selection process in the herds.
Not too much human interference.
Not too much human interference, and that's really the benefit of it. And then they had a bigger exposure in environments where they didn't get every night into a stable. So the probability of African horse sickness and a natural tendency to immune themselves against that was just higher. It's just natural. So we're getting that benefit. And quality of hoof, if there was, let's say, something chasing them around in the bush in the night or something, they couldn't say my hoof is too long now, I can't run anymore. They just had to survive. And then we're getting that benefit of that natural selection where the horse can be a horse and then the breed in total is benefiting from that.
That's really, and I'm trying to think like what other breeds, obviously hooves always feature in a breed standard, but quality of hoof being, again, another really strong element of the SA Boerperds I find quite interesting. That's really lovely.
You don't always have to put on use the farrier, just make sure that it's on the right length and right angles. You can ride for quite a while without anything on it.
That's music to any horse owner's ears, I think. Is there any specific training or handling considerations with Boerperds that separate it from other breeds that people need to be aware of?
I'm biased. Okay.
That's why I love having you here, Jan.
So, only to the benefit of the rider. It is
lovely.
you can get that horse out of the stable, get on and ride. You don't need to lunge it half an hour to the one side, half an hour to the other side, and then beg for it to stand still, and then get on it and ride 5 minutes, and then say, okay, sure, that was a long ride. You can get it out of the stable, put the saddle on, and ride immediately. And it comes back from this conformation side, temperament side. It is really one of the biggest advantages. You really can enjoy your horse. And if your horse got basic training, yes, it's a horse. It needs basic training. You need to do the basics correct. We're not saying that's not necessary. But if those things are incorrect, you can enjoy your horse in a much bigger percentage than a lot of other breeds. And I know I'm generalizing. I know there's exceptions always on the rule. But on the general rule, that is probably the biggest advantage on a training or exercising on a basis that you can enjoy your horse immediately. It's extremely intelligent horses. You don't need to beg it to learn how to do a movement in dressage. It picks it up like that. And they probably know if you're in prelim after this movement, that one comes, and they don't wait for you.
You don't want to overtrain us.
You must be clever how to make sure that they don't take the canter if they're not supposed to. If you ride from test 3 to 4 and the test change, they're extremely intelligent.
Listen, I think you could benefit from that, Jan, if you just, paste the tests on the stable door at night, you can just come tomorrow and say, I hope you've learned it.
No, as I said, I'm biased, but I think the benefits is all the basics need to be in place, like any horse and any training process. But I think with our breed, there's only benefits. It's faster, you can enjoy it better. It's not as dangerous as a lot of horses. Your child can ride it, and you can get on it bareback, go into the dam, get back.
Also, you're saying like a child can ride it, and this can maybe give way to the next thing, like high performing Boerperds. Yes, a child can ride it, but then you can ride it and your wife can ride it. And it really is, like you say, it's horses that belong to families, but they're horses that are ridden by families. And we were talking about a couple of show horses that have been very successfully competed under adults on behalf of children, such as the winner of the Supreme Ridden Championship this year at Horse of the Year.
Yes, that horse, for instance, was bought for the daughter of the family, and JJ showed it at Horse of the Year and won the ridden. And Linda, that's now the Supreme, wasn't even under the saddle, was just in hand. So
I think they took a tag team there.
Compliments to JJ. He knows when to pick also a good horse. But it's really the benefit of the horse, of the breed. A good temperament can be utilized, as you say, by parents and children. And it is the way also that the conformation works, especially out of a showing environment. You know, those legs just last longer, and it's just the judges don't see so many wear and tear on it so easy. So it is just it is a very good horse for adults. The bulk of our market buying it is in buying it primarily to enjoy the horse to ride. And then the quality is so good that I can do a showing or a show class or a dressage class or Western mounted game class. But I just want to enjoy my horse on the outright, even here in Kailami or wherever I stay.
And isn't that really the point of riding?
Yes.
You know, when you've got a 98% amateur base like we do in South Africa, it must be a horse you fundamentally enjoy getting on every day. And like you said, then if the quality is good enough that you can go to a show happily. Yeah. You know, and not...
I'm proud and show it off. Look at this, you know.
And have fun.
Yeah, look how good it looks. And you know, more than 80% of the horses being ridden, based on the 98 that you just said, is low. It's a smaller size than 15.2.
Really?
Because, yes, it's only the top jumpers and those that want higher leg and be able to do the 140 or whatever. No. Where I was today... 90% was smaller than...
You also want to be able to get on and off easily.
Very easy.
And I have to tell you, it would be very interesting to do a statistical measurement now in the FEI, in the show jumping rankings, but they're also going for smaller horses now. It's becoming a trend. They're quicker to turn. They need the same athleticism, but bigger's not always better. And
there we will do well because the heart of our horses is so big. You know, they stick with you. And if you prepare to go, they jump. They're with you, and they go.
Listen, I've seen Zara Popolado riding a Boerperd, and I can tell you sometimes Zara looks like she doesn't want to go over the jump, and the horse is still going. Yeah, so I think that's fantastic. Yes. What is the SA Boerperd Horse Breeder Society, and what is the role that it's going to be playing now? Obviously you've been running now for 50 years as that, going forward with the breed.
We will protect our constitution. My experience with it is that the board and the society value the horse and what was given to us as a responsible animal to look after. We respect that, and we have the responsibility, and we will look after it within those guidelines. You know, we do DNA, as I said, to verify the correctness. We're very hard on members that don't comply with that. We do that usually microchipping and all of that to make sure that it's correct. We do...
It's just good practice, actually, to have now.
And we comply with all the regulations of having a stat animal according to the South African law. And our constitution is when the society was registered, we lodged that as part of Department of Agriculture. And we never, yes, we change small things, but we never change anything material towards the breed going forward. And my experience with the society is that we want to be moving with time in how we market it, how we produce the horse, how we give support in the breeding process, but within those guidelines of what make the Boerperd unique and what brought us to where we are. You have the right to select within the parameters of the breed, whatever you want as a breeder, subject to the evaluation process, quality of leg, our standards on head, our standards on eyes, all of the 45 points that we look at. Within that, you can say, as a breeder, I love to have a bit of a shorter back compared to my other breeders because that's my choice. So it
also might work better on a mare with a slightly longer back.
Yes, so you can have your selection for breeding. But within those parameters, we stay within what we believe the Boerperd is, and we will protect it and be responsible to make sure that it survives now and into the future.
And what would you and I don't know if you can speak on behalf of the society, but what are your ideals for the Boerperd in the next 10 years? Besides having one in every home, like a Toyota Hilux.
I want to add to that point of view. I think we must be responsible to that core asset of the breed to be the best general breed in South Africa. We must be responsible in looking after the breed as a whole, not to be prescriptive how you must enjoy the Boerperd. If you want to use it on your farm to work with your cattle and you want a stud animal, we're the best place for you. If you want to enjoy it as a family, going on an outride at Moormanshoek, it's the best place. But if you want to buy a safe, high-quality showing horse for your child, come to us. If you want to have a good quality jumper, come to us. If you want to have a horse that is safe, that have a very nice canter for endurance, and you want to canter the 120 and not stop after 40, come to us. So we
not have your back give out after.
So I think we need we want to take the breed to be the best breed for any horse rider in South Africa. So quality of the fundamentals of the horse is important. Quality of leg is important. We're very hard on that. Because then, if that fundamentals is in place, you tell us how you want to enjoy your horse.
That's lovely.
Because the rest is correct. Yes.
That's more
so
important.
That's really where we want to take it. Yes, a lot of the decision makers enjoy showing or enjoy whatever discipline in the society. But it's not always, we must be sensitive not to be described to the user of our breed how you must enjoy your horse. It must be a breed that can be enjoyed by anybody because that's the quality of the breed. That's the biggest thing that the breed brings to the table.
And Jan, you've obviously mentioned like versatility, and there must be specific Boerperd lines that are gifted for certain avenues of things, as much as they're very versatile. If you've got someone who's wanting to buy their first Boerperd, who can they speak to knowledgeably about what type of Boerperd is going to best suit their needs?
The lines are not so separate anymore.
Oh, that's interesting.
So what now happened...
So it's like a good horse is a good horse.
Yes, but in breeding there's a principle, what they call in Afrikaans, a bit of basterkrag, a bit of cross-pollination between the qualities of the lines. And that's really happening now with the modern stats. They select components of a mare or a stallion what they want to breed with. Yes, if you ask them, where do you think historically that came from? Where did the movement come from? They will tell you, I think it comes out of that line, that component of my horse. But now the benefits of these older lines is now intertwined into this older animals in the stud, and a stud owner can apply and select for what he wants into, as we just described, within that parameters of the breed. What is his choice? I think if you speak to the older breeders, they can easily say to you, yeah, that movement comes from that, and they're very knowledgeable. They will take it back to the founding mare. They will tell
That's
you
amazing.
that mare or that stallion. And they're proud to know that, and they're proud to share those knowledge, and it's so nice to see that, it's nice competition between each other, but on such a healthy basis, and say, yeah, but that stallion with that mare won't work because 20 years back I saw that and that not working, and that's that, and all of that. So there's deep knowledge.
It's also for the better of the horse,
Yes.
which I think the entire breed association seems very aligned on.
Yes, it's a bunch of passionate breeders. And they enjoy the big picture, and they enjoy competing against each other on a healthy basis and bringing the best out of the breed and showing, breeding is not a short-term process. You sit on your stoop and you think about a breeding process, and over 5 years down the line, you could see
the fruits of it.
if you were correct or not.
It's a heck of a gamble, hey? That's really something. How long have your oldest breeders been established in breeding now?
We had at our nationals now in Paris, like a dinner, and there was a lady that spoke to us that was at the founding meeting. So And she warned us, we mustn't move away from the old principles, and said, yes, we will listen. So yes, there's some stats of which it's transferred to children, and their children is there, and they would say, my father did this and this, but there's also newer breeders coming to the table. And what I enjoy, it's 99% a family thing.
Yeah.
It's not often that you have one by, fly by night. It's a family thing. And you see how parents and children enjoy it, from the breeding process to riding, right through the classes. Our nationals, for instance,
and when is your nationals?
Normally in the June school holiday, because we can't do it now because Anissa is on. Yes, we can't do it earlier because it's too early in the competition year for the age of the horses. So the only space we can find is around about youth champs, just a week before that. But we have dressage, jumping, harness classes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
High performance, 3-gated. We got 5-gated classes. We start on Monday morning, 8 o'clock, and we end on Saturday evening, 8 o'clock. And
exciting.
There's not 5 minutes to spare between Monday morning and Saturday evening.
And how many horses do you typically have at a nationals?
In excess of 150 horses. But you remember, our horses don't do just one class.
No, they're coming to do
They can do harness, they can do dressage, they can do jumping, and participate in the 3-gated class. And the child, there's quite often a conflict. Can my child and my daughter, that's now 21, ride it? No, this horse must stay at that age bracket. So because the horses can just do anything. Yeah. So you get that benefit.
So you get the 21-year-old wanting to take it for a spin.
Yes, or the young child saying, can I ride against the old tunnies? I want to win them. Yeah, so,
I love that.
Yeah.
You briefly spoke about the 5-gated. You just mentioned the 5-gated class. What are the 5 gates that are evaluated in that class?
3 of the gates it's walk, trot, and canter. But then there's 2 gates that is a 4-beat gate. So at any stage, there's only one of the 4 feet on the ground. And the difference between those 2 is speed, and there's not a lot of breeds in the world that can ride it.
That's interesting, yeah?
So historically, it is our breed, a lot of the lines, some of our lines pick it up easy.
Oh, interesting.
And farmers, especially, that had to cover big distances on farms, looking at their patrolling cattle or sheep. Okay. All their workers enjoy to take, they call about like a hangiki. A hangiki means that gate. Okay. And the horse can go very far, and it's very nice, comfortable to ride. So we compete in that. Also, the 5-gated class. The 5-gated class got these 2 additional gates as part of it. And it's a highlight of our show.
Oh, lovely.
And it's a massive atmosphere. And it is like...
And what are the gates called? The one I think is the triple. Am I correct? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in English they say racket, and then they go just the faster in that.
Now it's when a leopard's chasing you.
Yes. Okay. yes. And it's that class is the core of our breed. It is.
It's lovely hearing the origin behind it, though. That again, it's not something that we've dreamt up to look fancy in an arena. There's a very functional reason behind it.
The saddlers also do it, but they do it more, the saddle seat component, they do a component of it. And the saddlers, the Morgans in America.
Yes, of course.
There's ponies in Iceland that can do it naturally. The trotters, so there is in the world a few breeds that can do it. The saddlers, it's got 5-gated competitions. But yeah, we also do it, and we do it in our way. We got a bit of different rules on hoof length and things like that.
And that's part of what you're saying is abiding by. You said one of the original breeders is talking about being devoted to the pure principles.
Yes,
that's part of that.
Yes. And
Jan, how do you manage in a breed society, because the world is evolving and it is changing? And for example, now while maintaining the breed principles of having a comfortable, good-tempered horse, you still want to have this horse that can now evolve to achieve. How within a breed association do you still end up having so many people that are really devoted to those core principles and marrying the two worlds together, the original principles and the new world?
We're not satisfied with a number of breeders. We want more. So we would love to have more. But we involve technology on things like DNA. Let's analyze the horse DNA to understand what component of its DNA marker ensure that a horse got a marker in for a bigger horse, or a horse that can do all the gaits. So we involve that side of technology in new world development to make sure that we stay with time, but within our parameters. So that's how evaluating just our evaluators. You know, we the first take into account all cattle evaluators in South Africa, also all horse evaluators in South Africa, because we got insight in Stambuk that we're the only breed that's evaluating our people that has to say how the breed is moving forward. So we really try to be responsible in how we do it. It's a lovely way
of also maintaining just the vision on an annual basis. It's so easy for people to, you know, it's so easy to be influenced in this industry.
And what a powerful position. You know, if I'm an evaluator,
to steer a breed,
to not evaluate your horse because me and you have a tiff, and now I say you got a bad horse. So let's make sure that when you apply your mind and say this horse or this stallion is quality, that for good and bad, that you understand your responsibility. Because otherwise we can't look the breeders in the face and say, you have to bring your stallion to a centralized place, and there somebody will tell you your stallion is good enough. If there's not buy-in in that process of evaluating our breeds, mares, gelding, stallions, we will lose members because they will say, this is a political environment. If they don't trust the process, and if they are not convinced that there is implications if I am, as an evaluator, don't do my job. So we do a lot of modern principles around DNA, around how to make sure that the breed stays pure, how to make sure that the people have a subjective opinion about the breed, but is managed and fair, and how to do it correct. And we train them, you know, just the training process, evaluation process. You know, it took me a few years before I passed, eh?
That's great.
Because you need to go on practical tours with old grey guys, and they told you, you're not yet good enough, you must come back. You write exams, the one after the other. If you don't pass in a certain percentage, you don't make the grade.
But it's great that people persevere. You know, so often you can hear someone says you're not good enough, and people go, footsuck, and they never come back. You know, so everyone seems to really buy into the process. And I think what I'm hearing you saying is we're now using more modern techniques to enforce our original principles of sustaining the breed, which I think is really special.
I think we always can do more. You know, you must never sit and think, now I arrived, and we know what we're doing.
Aren't horses humbling? Because you never get to do that with horses. It's really...
And it's a challenging environment. I think one of the biggest challenges for us as a breed is to have quality trainers, you know, because the industry is getting specialized. There's guys breeding, there's the capital partners in a horse. You know, a farmer that owns the horse, he hasn't got time to get on the horse because he must bring the money in by farming or by being an accountant somewhere. And I want a specialized trainer. I love my horses. I'm prepared to invest in them, but where do I find them? So those type of challenges is always there. And we're not unique in the horsey industry. We need that.
Absolutely.
We were exposed to that. And a lot of our trainers is our breeders in the countryside. You know, for me in Gauteng, it's relatively easier to find a trainer. But the guy sitting in Kimberley or whatever, it's a bigger challenge. So we have the normal challenges, and I think our breed, we have lively discussions how to address it. Because what do you do? Where can you? A horse is good with quality training on it and a good rider. You need all three, you know, to make a success.
Good horse, good training, good rider. That's an interesting conundrum. When you solve it, you'll
Yeah.
you'll be able to sell that secret for millions.
It is challenged, a big challenge in the way forward, because we are not responsible towards the breed if we don't put the horses there so that children can enjoy it. That's the future. If a child don't want to ride, and it's
the
safe,
future of our entire sport, not just a breed.
Yes.
It really.
So
I'm preaching to the choir, obviously.
We don't want to preach for the other breeds, but we as a board have our main focus is children, because if we can convince children to enjoy our horse and the quality of the horse that we've bred and that is there, we know we've got them on our horse, our breed for life, because if they didn't want a Boerperd, they won't ride anything else. And then we got them. So
it's the Toyota Hilux all over again. You just need to get them to buy the
There's a few Ford
first
guys they're getting irritated now, but yeah, I really think it's the quality.
I love that. Jan, if people want to find out more about the SA Boerperds, is there a website that they can go to?
Yes, saboerperd.com is there. We got a secretary that handle all these queries if they come through. She spread it to breeders right through the country and say this person wants a horse or that somebody got.
Lovely.
We from the society side pay for Equine SA, so that any breeder can market his horses.
That's wonderful.
We're the biggest, the breed with the most sale on that site, and so we do try to do those things from the society side to make things work.
I don't think there's another breed society that aids breeders like that in South Africa.
Equine
That's
just
really
have to convince us once a year, and we need to approve the payment. But yeah, that's a
bite and sign quickly.
Yeah, but they provide an excellent service to our breeders, especially the breeders in the countryside. How would they market? It's easier for me in Gauteng than them. So from the society side, we provide that service for our breeders, and they can present horses there, and But yeah, we got all the normal. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, a bit of that, and we try to utilize that also.
That's such a great tool to introduce people around the country into
and share the stories. It's important. Before we started, I shared some stories about companies using the horses on a horse trail environment, on the Big Five game environment, and they come to us and say, we please want your horses because they're quality, and we don't. Yeah. We're proud to put international riders on them in the veld. It's a good story, and it's a responsible story.
That they're going to be fine.
Yes,
and that's really. Yeah. But it's also like a Big Five horse safari. I think just having a look at, I think it's called Horizon Horseback Safaris. If anyone wants to have a look. When you're a good rider, you also don't want to go and ride an Uno around the countryside. Yeah. So it's that wonderful bridge for me of temperament and quality, which is so rare.
The compliments from those top Olympic riders about the breed is just make me so proud. So nice.
And proud of the work that the breed is doing. Yes. Jan, before we dial off, is there anything else you would like to share about Boerperds?
I think. As I said, I'm biased. So, it is an excellent, responsible way for children to enjoy the sport of horse riding. It is a very, very good buy for parents to invest in, for children, as I said, multidiscipline and a high quality ride. A big percentage of our marketplace now is elderly ladies. The chirp. I please want to be safe. I don't need to lunge the horse for half an hour.
But I would like it to be pretty.
Yeah, I would like it to be pretty. So it's a very safe environment. And I'm tired of falling off now. Yeah. Please, can I have just a horse that can stick with me?
I hope I'm not an old lady, but I'm tired of falling off. I think it's something we can and should minimize for that amateur base, especially that we were talking about.
But it's a proudly South African product, eh? It is really.
We can change the stamp, the Boerperd stamp, to that proudly South African.
It is really. So we're also proud about that. It's really a good product out of South Africa, and it is like the We're a rainbow nation of the horsey game. It's a product of our history. And then we looked on what made it best, and we preserved that. So it's a proudly South African product, and we're so proud to see that it's now more and more based on what, how it's shaped, how people evaluate it. It's now just more and more proving to be high quality and the best quality going forward. So, yeah, we love it. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for joining me, really. And congratulations on 50 years, and here's to the next 50.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yes. I hope the whole equine industry grows. Because if the equine industry don't grow sufficiently, then,
it's a lovely progressive thought to say we all need to do better for all of us. Sometimes people want to keep it for themselves.
And we need other breeds to win in the arena because, you
want a bit of competition.
We just want to ride against anything else and show them that we're better. No, if the industry don't grow, we can't grow. And if horse riding as a sport don't grow in South Africa, and it must grow among all South Africans,
Absolutely.
We can't survive in this country, not that we want to survive in this country for the wrong reasons, but we can't survive in this country if our sport is not embraced by the majority of South Africans. And we're blessed that we're probably the biggest breed utilized by the biggest percentage of South Africans, being that
a lot of representation.
That the Zulus enjoy that component of our South African brothers and sisters enjoy our breed and see the quality, and they enjoy it. I just look at a communication today. I spoke to about a guy in Ventersdorp, and I said, "Hey, what are you riding?" He said, "No, I'm riding this and that." And I said, "Hey, man, it's like you ask an Indian guy to eat marog and pap. You must get a Boerperd. You can't ride that." And we joked about it.
Enjoy the Toyota Hilux. It's for everyone.
And we had a very nice discussion about it. And more people must enjoy our breed, and more people must be spoiled with that. And
so we just need to get more people to ride a Boerperd once, Jan. And
we think that. We would love to give you exposure just once on the back.
I'm in. I'm coming.
And then I know next you're going to ask me where can I get one to buy, and that's going to be the second problem, but we will find one.
It sounds like good problems to have, Jan.
Yes,
Thank you so much for joining us in the studio this evening. If you've just joined in, that was Vice President of the SA Boerperd Breeders Association, Jan Joubert, who came to speak to us about the 50th anniversary of the SA Boerperd Association here in South Africa. Wonderful breed, offering lots to our equestrian base. Thank you for joining us this evening, and don't forget to join us next Wednesday again at 7 p.m. for this podcast from the Horse's Mouth.